Marsha Blackburn. Senator Blackburn, thank you, ma'am, very much, as always, for helping us. President Trump just signed an executive order to end the Education Department. I do not regard this as a tragedy. I do not see a lot of people spilling a lot of tears. Your colleague, Senator Bill Cassidy, apparently is introducing a bill in the Senate to abolish the education departments. Your thoughts on this whole business?
It is so appropriate that President Trump do this, and Linda McMahon as secretary is perfect for carrying this out. The reason you're not hearing a lot of angst from people around the country is during COVID, parents saw what their children were not being taught.
Right.
And they started to say this curriculum has to change. And they were offended when they showed up at school board meetings and were labeled terrorist. And people have seen that money goes to D.C. and then all of a sudden the money is coming back to the states, pennies on the dollar, and there are all these strings attached. And as a teacher friend of mine said to me last weekend, when I said, what does the U.S. Department of Education do for you every day? She said, well, curriculum is decided by the state. We've got a county school board. The U.S. Department of Education, I think they look at testing and rate that among the states, and they send me a lot of forms to fill out and a lot of paperwork. So let's free up teachers. Let's let teachers teach their children how to learn, how to dream big dreams. Let's have teachers who are going to have robust lesson plans and are going to focus on AI and focus on quantum computing, and then those basic skills of reading and writing and mathematics. And you look at these states like Illinois, where they have spent so much more money on education, but it doesn't seem to make it to the student and doesn't increase their educational attainment. In Illinois, their scores have dropped 78% and 63% in reading and math.
Wow.
That's why teachers and students there are saying, hey, wait a minute, something's got to change.
There are a lot of good teachers. And there are a lot of teachers who really want to teach.
Absolutely.
But I want to add this one point, sticks in my craw. The teachers' unions and their leadership stops the good teachers in many cases and tries to drive them into teaching stuff that's not good.
That is right, and that's why Senator Cassidy is right in having the bill that would put into action President Trump's executive order. Let's take the Department of Education down, send the money, the power, the authority back to the states and to the local school systems, and let's get educational attainment up for all of our children.
100%. I want to switch gears and talk for a moment about the Bondi bust, AG Pam Bondi's bust today. They found suspected 3 people of throwing Molotov cocktails at Tesla cars or the Tesla dealerships. Domestic terrorism has become a big issue. And so much of this, and I want to just say, I want to get your take on domestic terrorism. But, you know, I don't see Democratic leaders, I don't mean crazy, whacked out, I mean just Democratic leaders in general, standing up against this kind of terrorism. And this will just sink the Democratic Party lower and lower, in my view. But domestic terrorism and the Bondi bust, what you make of it?
I am so pleased with the work that AG Bondi is doing, and she is not wasting time. She is taking action and going after these individuals that are carrying out these attacks against Tesla dealerships and destroying property and harming people. Larry, this is something that the Department of Justice should be on, and these people need to be apprehended. They need to be punished to the full extent of the law, and Democratic leaders in this country need to stand up and say, this is wrong. Right now, the Democrats are basically on the wrong side of every issue from the American people. And because of that, we need Democratic leaders who will stand up and say, look, you cannot go firebomb Tesla dealerships or Tesla owners. You cannot stand for men in women's sports. You've got to support keeping criminal, illegal aliens out of the country. That's the right thing to do. These people are committing violent crimes, heinous crimes, murder, rape, and they should be out of the country. And the Democratic leadership, for them to not speak out and support the rule of law and support safety, public safety in our communities, I think they need to do some soul searching.
They're digging their own grave, and they're digging that grave deeper and deeper and deeper. You're right.
There's a great country song, "When you're in a hole, stop digging."
Okay, there you go. That's very good. Senator Marsha Blackburn, ending on that note. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it, as
Delighted
always, and
to
your
join
wisdom.
you.
Folks,